I just spent the last 5 minutes listening to my cat scratch at the litter box again. She doesn't know how to litter box. Neither of them do. Anyway, so as you can see, we've got stuff to do. So I'm Hobbs and welcome to HMODS. Oh wait, freeze frame. Alright, play the music.
Oh, yeah. You gotta get sweaty. You gotta get sweaty in here. It's time to get sweaty.
EXA introduces the new E900 Plus environment noise canceling headphones. Incorporating EXA's visionary digital 7.1 surround sound, the E900 Plus sports their newly designed 50mm speakers, which kick out a kick-ass dynamic range with an earth-shaking low end. Priced at only $43.99, the E900 Plus clinches the trifecta of weight, sound, and price to kick the competition in the daddy bags. Click the link below and use the code HMODS to get 10% off when you order direct from exa.net.
Okay, so this is an Apex Gaming Black Castle, or something. It has some other designation, but the first time I saw it was an Apex Gaming Black Castle. It's a relatively cheap computer chassis made by a relatively cheap computer company that I had never heard of until now. So we can only assume that they're big in the world everywhere else. But, so yeah, we got a client, nice $2,000 build, and as you can see, we've got stuff and coffee. So, okay, the gist of this is, first of all, the project name is called Stronghold. And you can see by looking at the case, it's a little bit like the Corsair Carbide Spec 1 that I used for the Wraith. But what struck me about this is it's a little more jagged, and I really, really liked that. It reminded me, like, the name of the case is the Black Castle, which, I mean, it really, really speaks to that. So I was immediately drawn to this, and one of the things I have about my client builds is I get carte blanche as to what I do. Because with custom work, you know, it's basically like, I suppose it can be a little bit snobbish, really. I mean, it's a little bit. When something speaks to me, I know what I want to do with it. Versus if a client picks out a case, that's different. But if they're letting me pick the case and all the parts, then I just go with what speaks to me, and this really did. So the project's name is Stronghold for obvious reasons. The case, I think, cost about 75 bucks, maybe, if that, I don't remember. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. We've got two USB 3 ports up here on the top, which might get used. You got the microphone, you got the headphone jack and everything, blah, 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 blah. It came, however, this is a little bit funny. It came with one fan in the back. I don't think there's any fans. Nope, there's no fans in the front or the top. There's room for two 140mm fans in the front and two 120 mils on top, or an AIO. I had to check that because when we were doing Project Tango, we ran into a giant, huge issue. And that was because when we put on the top panel, because I did the top panel last, which is going to be my method from now on. When we put the top panel back on, the motherboard was already in, and so it was just like when the rad and the fans were placed where they're supposed to go, it wouldn't fit. So what I did was I moved it way off to the side and just crammed it in there against the VRM heatsink, and it worked. I never even got the thing fully secured because on this side of the case, where I moved it to, the screw holes on this side matched fine. But over here, they did not. So I didn't even get it fully secured. It's just in there against the motherboard. So this is different though, because on this chassis, you've got it all the way over to the side, which is a big plus. My only hiccup is on this side, as you can see, there's very, very little room for cable management. So I'm gonna have to get creative, but I love a challenge. And another thing about this case is both panels have that sort of outward jut And one thing I'm really digging is that this case does not have a tempered glass or plexi windows, which means we get to do more cutting. Parts. We are using the new EVGA Supernova GT. These just came out a couple of months ago, and I've heard good reviews about them. So these are good. These are relatively cheap. I think this one was like 80 bucks, and they're brand new. They work. They're 80 plus gold certified. They're good for gamers on a budget, and 750 watts is nothing to shake a stick at. Against my better judgment, we're going with an MSI Mag Edition Tomahawk B550 motherboard because things. I'm gonna give it a shot. You guys know how much of a fan of Asus and ASRock I am. They were, however, a little bit more expensive for the X570 or the B550. Not so much the Steel Legend, but it's not what I was feeling this time. So we went with the Tomahawk Mag Edition. We'll see how this works. There's a mouse cam. So, Mag Edition motherboard. It looks cool. And things. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. The chipset is B550, of course, so that's fine. Yeah, it looks cool, and that's why it spoke to me. And finally, for our client build, we're going with a little bit more of a newer card, which is this GTX 1660. That's going to be fun. We've got an AMD Ryzen 5600X. We've got the Up Here PWM fans, the 6-pack, which again, if you don't know what Up Here fans are, you need to stop. Do not stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just go and get some fans, because these things rock. Apart from that, we are using the CableMod cables that go with all of the EVGA power supplies. We've got the Noctua thermal paste. We've got this PNY 1TB M.2. We've got the Ergu lights, because things. She wasn't really too concerned about lights and stuff. She's flashing me. Okay, so anyway, it's gonna look cool and we're gonna go to the workshop now. Let's get to it now. So, okay, one thing I didn't really realize until now, there's a screen on the top. So that's fun. So what we're gonna do right now, as is with every build, we're gonna get everything out of here, we're gonna take everything apart, then we're gonna get it ready for paint. No, you know what? We're not gonna paint this, not right away anyway. First thing we're going to do is strip the paint. And that's gonna be fun. I have to figure out whether or not I can, so here's the idea that I'm gonna go for. Rust. You know, with the name like Stronghold, the idea is to make it looks like sort of like the futuristic buildings that you see in like the movies or cartoons or something, like really old, like Judge Dredd. Big, giant, rust, decrepitude. And like the movie Dredd, the Carl Urban one, the better one. The Sylvester one, Stallone, the Sylvester Stallone sucks. The Sylvester Stallone one sucks. So the Carl Urban Judge Dredd movie is kind of where I got the idea, because they have giant, huge buildings, the Hall of Justice, peach trees, which is this just decrepit 2-kilometer high building that at the stroke of a dime can be completely locked down into war mode. And so that's kind of where this idea comes from. It was either that or sort of turn it into a castle, but I figured that one was a little bit on the nose. So we're gonna go complete fucking rust on this. And here's the issue. That's metal, that's plastic, that's metal. So what am I going to do with this? Because I can rust this stuff, I think. I don't know what it's made of, but I think I can rust it. I can't rust this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that, I'll use this And then what I'll do, I'll paint it. I'll probably paint it like black and then like kind of add a little bit of red to it. But to make it look cool on the door panels, I'll sort of come in like that, and not that you'll see it anymore when it hits the window, but it'll kind of have some flow to it. And then up here as well. And again over here. So I want consistency, but with the windows going to be here, it's not really going to matter all that much. But I wanted to have some flow to it, maybe some just like kind of tentacle-looking pointy-ness to it. So we'll see. As is with custom with my builds, this is all pretty fluid. I'll know what I'm going to do when I get to it. So. Get this thing apart. I don't have to treat those very well because it's actually better if it's kind of ruined. It's got a speaker! This is old school right here. This is old school. You put this on the motherboard, and whenever there's like an error or something, it goes beep in a really, really crappy way, but we're not going to use this. Screws upon screws upon screws. We got motherboard standoffs. This is great. We're going to save this. I'm happy that all this... See, here's the thing. I had never heard of Apex Gaming before. And they're a very small... They're a very small company, probably Chinese. They do have a website, unlike up here, though, which is nice. And they do make a lot of stuff. I don't know if any of it's good, but I really, really liked the case. And if I can like the case when I'm seeing it online, I'm gonna like it when I get it in my hands. Unfortunately, like it was one of those things where I had to like sit there and really, really think, because none of the pictures were very big. Even the ones on Amazon, they were like that big on a 4K screen. It's very difficult to discern what's really, really going. That's a really, really small power button. Look at that. Like it's recessed. And it's small. And that reset button, wow. Anyway, let's get this off. Now, after my experience with Tango Bravo, we're going to do this similar to that. In that, this is going to have an AIO. So this is one of the reasons. We're going to leave the top panel off until just before we're ready to close it up. Okay, and now I'm going to try to remove the feet without breaking them. No, I'll wait. Actually, they might just snap out. Hey! Somebody had a good idea! Do you know how many f***ing things that I've broken so many of these because they have this. And you try to push it out or something, it f***ing snaps. The top panel screws off! This is great! This is so great! The other parts don't, but the CD drive and the whole top panel just screws right off. For modding! Yes! I guess someone had the idea of putting an AIO on and not giving the fucking consumer headaches for cable management. Thumbs up to Apex fucking Gaming. God damn it. So what we're going to do with this, and this is when you start rusting something, it's progressive, because the air will continue to oxidize it. So as soon as we're finished rusting this, we have to clear coat it. It doesn't have to be shiny. You can use like a semi-gloss. As long as it's a full coat, it'll be fine. This is, however, going to be shiny. It's going to look really, really cool when it's done. And it's going to, like, I'm going to put some lights in there, and so the light will bounce around and give all the different colors definition. It's going to look super fucking cool. This is going to be one of those projects I'm not going to want to see go out the door. Hit the part now!